This is Merrick-Moore Park, Durham's newest park. It's large, well-maintained, and even has some fancy features, like electric car charging stations. Despite the nice amenities, there is one major problem with the park. It's really hard to get to. Or rather, it's really hard to get to without a car. See, this is the only entrance to the park. Do you notice what's missing? There aren't any sidewalks, bike lanes, or even a shoulder to walk on. I mean, seriously, how are you supposed to get here if not in a car? You can't even take the bus, because the closest bus stop is nearly a half-mile away, and then you still have to cross this bridge, navigate this intersection, then walk down the ditch to get to the entrance. Needless to say, that is not a good option. So if people can drive to the park, they will. And of course, everyone needs a place to put their car once they arrive. And so there's this giant parking lot. It goes on and on. But it is probably warranted, because when you force everyone to drive, you need space for all those cars. And cars take up a lot of space. Forcing people to drive also limits who has access to the park. This park is basically off limits to anyone without access to a car, including people too young to drive. Presumably, that's why they added these drop-off zones, so parents could drop off their kids at soccer practice. If you look closely, you can see the skid marks where cars had trouble making the turn. Over here, they put in a drive-up curb to make it easier for cars to drive up onto the sidewalk. You know, the place where the kids are. Imagine how much better it would be if kids could safely walk or bike to the park on their own. Imagine how freeing that would be for both the kid and the parent. Speaking of biking, there actually are a few bike racks around. These bike racks are nice, but it feels like the city is just checking a box. I mean, what's the point of having bike parking when this is what you have to ride on to get here? How many people are actually going to use these? The electric car charging spots feel like another way that the city is pretending to be green without really doing much. I mean, sure, having them is better than not having them, but how much good are they really doing? If the goal is to reduce the carbon footprint of the park, it would have been far, far better to get rid of half of the parking spaces and replace the need for them with safe, reliable access to the park from non-car modes of transit. For example, the city should add protected bike lanes and wide, elevated sidewalks to Hoover Road and to adjacent roads. Cheek Road in particular is in dire need of improvement. Cars fly through here, and there's no protection for pedestrians or cyclists. The intersection of Hoover Road and Cheek Road is especially dangerous. A roundabout might be a good solution to slow traffic down and make the intersection safe for all users. After protected bike lanes and sidewalks are installed, the city should consider other improvements as well. Bus routes could be reworked or expanded to add stops closer to the park. The city could also work with nearby neighborhoods to create more pedestrian access to the park. Trails like these would turn longer drives into shorter walks or bike rides. Durham clearly invested a lot of resources when they built Merrick-Moore Park. Now, it's time to make sure everyone has a safe way to get there.